and I got a good one for you today. Let's go!
Hey, this Chief Hickson with Chief Says exclusively for those looking to go to the next level when it comes to inspiring, encouraging, and motivate you to get to that next level. Here at Chief Says, we provide a positive energy platform. At Chief Says, we take you through some powerful tips, guys, that has been proven to change people's lives, and they could change yours too if you apply them. This is different, guys, from that 1-minute video I normally do on Instagram and Facebook, but this still is a positive platform. Here on Chief Says, this is the part I like. We have a segment that's set out to the side that we bring in positive people that are performing at a phenomenal level. And I meant to tell you guys, at this very moment, we are going through a lot of serious stuff, mentally and physically. It's not just the COVID-19, it's cancer. It's depression, anxiety, PTSD. People are dealing with chronic illnesses. They have lost loved ones. People struggling with their identity, their own identity. People have been fired and laid off from their job. Okay, so we're bringing in some positive people that have lived the example of what they've been doing. They've been inspiring, motivating, encouraging people to reach their full potential. Okay, so I need to make sure that you understand. I try to figure out who motivates the motivator. And I always thought about to myself, who motivates the motivator? And the answer is you. So we're going to do a small deep dive into the 1-minute video that I have on Instagram. It is actually called Built to Go Far. Watch this video with us. See, I live in a rock distance throw from a golf course and never played a round of golf before. I often ask myself why, but I found out why. See, I've been playing golf my entire life and not even know it. Did you know when they first originally made the golf balls, they were round and smooth and they had no dents? But they found out what the golfers, when they hit the ball, it would form these dents in them. And the more dents that the ball had in it, the further they went. They went back to the drawing board, the engineers, and redesigned the ball where they had the dents in it. This could be indicative of my life and possibly yours. Those challenges and hurts and those things that we go through could be a telltale sign of how far we can go if we embrace what we have actually gone through. So COVID-19, your school, education, job, marriage, relationship, if you just embrace those challenges that you're going through and never quit, that could be a telltale sign of how far you can go. She says, never quit, never give up on yourself, embrace those challenges. Let's go. That one has got me really, really excited. Built to go far. Yeah, those challenges, those things that we actually went through in our life could be a sign to tell us how far we can go in our life. Now, see, I've had failure. I've had obstacles that I had to go through and stuff like that. So those little dents, those hurts, those things that we went through in life has actually made me even go further. So it actually made me who I am today. So I embrace those challenges. And I'm going to slow down a little bit because I really want you to really get this and understand it. Because a lot of us are going through these things and they thinking that these failures and all the stuff that we're going through is actually causing us to stay where we are. You have to be able to understand where you are, because where you are is going to determine how far you're going to go in life. So take on those challenges, take on those dents, take on those failures. And again, when they built those golf balls the first time, they did not know, of course, so it was smooth. They did not know as the golfers would hit them more, the more dents that they had in it, the further the ball went. So they went back and redesigned it, and now the ball goes further. So it could be very, very indication that how far you can go in life by just about the stuff that you're going through right now. So don't give up, don't quit. She says, built to go far. She says, let's go. So I would like to bring a special guest, all right, to Chief Says. I always look for those motivational, inspirational people that actually doing what they say they do in life. So I met this person about 4 or 5 years ago, JRTC instructor. She's not only a motivator, she's an inspirational person. I think she belongs to some fraternities as well. She's actually a retired veteran. She's actually top 0.5 or 1% of her career field when she was in. I would like to introduce you to Sergeant Major Ruby Murray. So welcome to Chief Says, Sergeant Major. I'm glad to have you. Could you tell the audience just a little bit more about yourself that I didn't cover in the intro?
Hi, my name is Sergeant Major Retired Ruby Murray. And first of all, Chief, thank you for inviting me to this amazing segment. It means a lot when we can continue to sharpen the iron. When iron continues to sharpen the iron, there's no dull moment, because when we sharpen each other's skill craft, we become powerful. We become empowered when it comes to each other. A little bit more about retired Sergeant Major Ruby Murray. I am a wife. I am married to Mr. Alfred Murray, and I have an amazing daughter who got accepted into the master's program at Winston-Salem State University. So I am just honored today to be here with you on this segment. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good. So I'm glad to have you on. I mean, you have done so much in your life. Could you give us a specific time where you noticed that motivating and encouraging people were something that you was gifted at? Like that aha moment, like you knew right then that you had a special gift to be able to do this. What was that moment though, Sergeant Major?
Basically, I'm gonna go back to 1998. And that moment was when I was pregnant with my daughter. During that time frame, I didn't even know that I had talent because I was an average soldier. And what I mean by average soldier, yeah, I was above what you call a great soldier, but I was an average soldier because I had a setback. And the setback was when I became pregnant with my daughter and I gained a lot of weight. During that time frame, I ended up gaining so much weight that my company commander felt the need after my 45 days to put me out the military because I was nowhere where I needed to be at. And so at that time, I ended up hiring a personal trainer, and it was an all women's fitness gym in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I ended up going to the all women's fitness gym 5 days a week. Then I saw myself going 7 days a week because my legs were like rubbing. They were rubbing together. And then I found my way each and every month that I had to prove my commander wrong. And then all of a sudden, my battalion sergeant major, he had saw me running one day, and they had just invented the postpartum PT program. And he had asked my first sergeant, could I become one of the lead for the postpartum PT program? And at that time, I did not know the gift that God had given me, which was to inspire others, because I was once those females, because I was able to bounce back within those 6-month time frame to pass my PT test better than what I was when I was not pregnant. And so I feel that the aha moment came for me when I was able to inspire over 300 females in the United States Army that came through Fort Bragg postpartum PT program. During that time frame, that aha moment was when Health Fitness Magazine reached out to me and done a nice article on me. And that article still stands today. It's always about finding the happy place and how could you change the lives of others knowing that they just had you for a PT session. So Chief, that was my aha moment. And still today, it's my aha moment.
Man, that's crazy, Sergeant. I mean, you reached the top of the tier when it comes to females in the rank in the United States Army, and with that adversity, I mean that is crazy. So that's an applause to you, and we definitely want to be able to bring that article up and show the audience, that way they can go back and see that. All right, so it's important for us to do that. Could you tell us the best piece of advice that you ever gave somebody and it actually worked? You know what I mean?
The best piece of advice that I ever gave someone is to be you. Mm-hmm. Be you is so important because I found myself not being me. And it took time. It took me falling in areas that I didn't even understand because I had those naysayers. And those naysayers were those that continue to allow me to not to believe in me. And so if I would give any type of advice to anybody is to learn how to be you, but most important, start applauding yourself first. That is another thing that we don't do well because we wait on an audience to applaud us. And we have to learn how to applaud ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I am somebody. By me being somebody each and every day, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I got to learn how to love myself first unconditionally before I can love anybody else. And at the same time, I have to learn how to applaud myself first before I allow anybody else to applaud me. Because everybody applause is not a good applause because everybody ain't applauding for you.
Yeah, that's powerful. You're not only an inspiration to women, but you're inspiration to everybody around the world. So I appreciate what you have done. Can you think of a person, family member, or friend that influenced you the most, and why, Sergeant Major?
Basically, I would tell you my father. My father still today is everything to me. If you notice, I'm wearing his necklace today. I don't go too far without him. And he was one of the main reasons that I got out of what you call poverty.
You good. Take your time, Sergeant Major. You're good on here. Go ahead. You
I
good.
never
Take your time.
left poverty, but he was one of the type of leaders that always would tell me that you need to make something out of yourself. And so my father was a Vietnam veteran. When I was growing up, I didn't spend a lot of time with him because he was incarcerated. He was incarcerated in the Virginia State Penitentiary because my father had went on a shooting spree. And at that time, they didn't even know that he had been shell shot, which we call PTSD now, in the military. And so my uncle at the time decided to go against what you call the law and present something to the United States Army. And it went all the way up to the Pentagon. And they realized that my father was not supposed to be incarcerated. He needed help. And so my father ended up spending almost close to 30 years in the veteran hospital in Roanoke, Virginia. And so my father made me realize as I got older and wiser that it was something that he always wanted to fulfill, and that was to be a soldier. And so when I had an opportunity to get a chance to go out there and meet him, this was after graduation. I didn't tell him I was in the military. I didn't even tell him that I had joined the military, but I told him I was going to fulfill a dream that he could not complete. And so during that time frame, I knew that I could not let him down because he was a cook. He was a PFC. He didn't last long, but I knew that I wanted to make an impact difference on him.
Yes.
Because I knew that my upbringing was not going to be my setback. My upbringing that my father gave me was something I had to strive for. And he instilled values, norms, goals, and everything. And one of his favorite sayings that he used to tell me and my brother was, don't you ever take from anybody. Don't you ever take from anybody. You always remember, you keep your hands in your pocket. You don't go to the store. You don't have the money for it. You don't buy, you don't mess with it. And so my dad became my biggest inspiration, but most important, he became my leader. He became my role model. And then it's so weird, Chief, when you ask this question, because I feel that my dad waited on me. I had just gotten out of Afghanistan and we had just got put on R&R. And I received a phone call from Roanoke. And at that time, when I received that phone call from Roanoke, Virginia, they had told me that my father had had a massive heart attack. And so me and my girlfriend, we just done a U-turn and we went to Roanoke. And at that time, they had him all plugged up and everything. I was out there for about 3 days. And then finally, he was able to talk to me. And the words that he shared with me, which was so weird, but this is just how powerful God works, is that he was telling me that he was giving me his last wishes, but I didn't know he was giving me his last wishes.
Okay.
Telling me he wanted to be medicine free because my father was on so much medication that the military was giving him. And he wanted to make sure that I had the final say so in anything that took place. And I kept telling him, Dad, you know, why are you saying that? You know, why are you saying that? And I couldn't understand what he was saying. But I tell you, he influenced me so much throughout my military career that everything that I'd done had to be for him. I did not stay at rank long because I had to make the rank understand that it wasn't about the rank, it was about the person behind the rank.
Oh, you had a why.
You had a why. Because a lot of people get to a point in their life where they feel, oh, I'm Sergeant such and such, I'm Staff Sergeant such and such, but who are you behind that rank? And so my father taught me how to be humble and how to take everything with a grain of salt. And at the same time, when people think that you are not smart enough, then show them your A card when it's time for them, for that A card to be presented. And then they're going to come back and say, wow, I didn't know you had it in you because first of all, you never gave me a chance. Mm-hmm. And my father was my biggest inspiration.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's a very, very inspirational story. I see you definitely emotional behind it. That's something that I didn't know about you. I know your father was a veteran, but I'm glad you'd be able to share your story here on Chief Says. That's very good. The next question I have for you, Sergeant Major, is like, what advice or recommendation you would give to people going through this extraordinary circumstance when it comes to this COVID-19? We're going through a pandemic right now, and people are dealing with so much heavy burdens of losing their jobs, education-wise, anxiety, depression. What recommendations or advice would you give some of our followers or our viewers of this particular segment, Chief Says?
Basically, what I would give the viewers today is the same advice I would give me. Get your house in order. Get your house in order, because I feel that this pandemic has allowed us to love one another more. Not just our family, but also our neighbors. One of the things that I have noticed since this pandemic is that I am able to see my neighbors in my neighborhood that I've never seen before. We are really walking together now. Like at 8 o'clock tonight, I have a walking event tonight. And it's just so amazing. It allowing you to spend more family time, because prior to the pandemic, everybody was going 100 miles per hour. No one had time for family time. No one had time to sit down at the table because everyone was in a different room in the house. My husband watching the TV, I'm watching something else, my daughter doing something else, but it made us get out the house. We learned even how to plant flowers. We learned how to cut grass, just different things. So what I would give to the audience today is learn how to get your family in order, but most important, love thy neighbor.
Wow.
Love neighbor.
Good.
Love neighbor. I can't
Great
stress
advice.
that, because even during this time frame, we had a lot of protesting taking place, a lot of rioting that has taken place. And even when the protests came here to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and our neighborhood group, we thought that protesters were coming in our area, and we had people knocking on each other's doors, strangers that we even never met that was right across the street from us, saying, hey, you know, I know you're proud military. If there's anything you can do, can I stay with you if they decide to come in? And we were, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I told my husband, I was like, that is very weird. But what we learned how to do is to love thy neighbors and to start bonding more with family members. Like there's no tomorrow, because
Great
just
point.
last week on Chief said, my husband lost his best friend from COVID-19. So this stuff is real. It's real, like there's no tomorrow. And sometimes, you know, it gets to a point that we wait until something happens to someone for us to say we got to do what's right. But the best advice I can give them, Chiefs, is to love thy neighbor, love their family. But most important, start understanding that this COVID-19 is not going to beat us. We're going to beat it, because we're going to figure out how to get back into the family setting as a whole.
We're going to do it, Sergeant Major, and that's one of the reasons why we put Chief Says together, to provide a platform that where people can come to and get some positive energy and showing some people that's just crushing it. So that is a great point. Love thy neighbor, start developing family time, and a lot of our people that are actually doing this are actually getting back toward their family, and they seem like they're crushing the goals. So what have you not accomplished yet that you're looking to accomplish in the future, Sergeant Major?
Basically, and I think this pandemic for this is telling my story. I've been writing since 2004, and I'm always giving people, oh God, I'm getting emotional again, but
Fine, you're good.
I'm always giving people advice. And this is kind of weird when I tell you this, Chief, but it's not by surprise. And they say it happened in threes. I have had 3 individuals that reached out to me that have written books, published their books, and they'll send me a text message and tell me, hey, it's because of you. You the one jump-started me when I was in Iraq. You the one that jump-started me when I was in Afghanistan. And so finally, when that third person contacted me, Chief, I literally had to look underneath my bed and say, you know what? Thumb drive, it's time to come out. It's time for me to stick the thumb drive back inside the computer and figure out how to jumpstart myself. Because if I'm saying that I'm going to have to learn how to start applauding myself, because I'm applauding others, they're not applauding me back. And so now the biggest thing that I'm hoping to accomplish this year is to finalize my book. I am restructuring my book because the book had a lot of different chapters in it, and it started with postpartum. And I have to revise it because now God has given me 13 different certifications that I am actually certified in.
I was going to ask you about that. You actually a certified speaker as well, right?
Motivational speaker as well.
What program?
Last July.
What program?
Oh, Spencer.
Okay, got you.
I'm with Spencer. Yeah, and so that was something else that kind of like jump started me as well, because it's like now if I'm going to keep saying that I have to look myself in the mirror, then I don't need a crowd no more, because I know that God is going to usher in that perfect moment, and it's going to be just for me. The phone call is going to come in, an email is going to come in, and that publisher is going to be there waiting on me for my final product. So I just feel that if God gives me the strength to see the end of this year, my book will be finalized at the end of this year.
Well, definitely, we would love to bring you back on a segment with Chief Says, and not only promote your book, but show people your story. So we're looking to do that down the road. So I just got a couple more questions for you, Sergeant Major. How much hard work goes into what you do as a motivational, inspirational person that people really don't see?
A lot of hard work, Chief. I mean, sometimes people be thinking that when they see you that you're really not doing a lot of work, but mine really started at 5:30 in the morning. Mine started at 5:30 in the morning because I have to really get myself generated with physical fitness. And then the hard work that comes in when, you know, first of all, me being a JRTC instructor, my phone is always on speed dial. My personal email is always on speed dial, because we're dealing with a generation that's so entitled that they don't have people to really care for them. And so when they run into that teacher or that instructor, they'll know that, guess what? I can always call on her, because she's always saying she's available 24/7. Even though she may not answer her phone, she's available 24/7. I'm always, sometimes people get to a point where they just don't understand that I am always up. I'm just one of those ones, Chief, that don't get tired. It's like I'm a Duracell battery or something.
Yeah. I know that for a fact. You always got that energy from the first time I met you, from start to finish, from in the morning all the way to late at night. Sergeant Major Murray just always got that energy. So definitely, before I move into the next question, which is one of a couple of last questions, is didn't you win the Teacher of the Year?
I did, Chief. and it was an ooh-ha moment. Jesus. Wow. Ooh-ah moment.
Yeah, not to catch you off guard, but that's what the kind of phenomenal person you are. And I think you were, maybe that was like your first or second year. So that just shows you the testament or the body of work that you've been putting in. So, you know, I just thought that was amazing. I just wanted to bring that up, and I'm so proud to even call you a battle buddy and to have you on the team. Is there a particular group or a particular organization that you want to shout out, that you want to bring attention to?
Basically, I want to give a shout out to my sorority, which is Zeta Phi Beta Tau Upsilon Zeta chapter out of Hope Mills, North Carolina.
Let's go. All right, so we definitely shout them out. Good to go. So we're going to move into, I appreciate you coming out and actually accepting our invitation to Chief Says being interviewed. We're going to go into something called the Chief Says Speed Word Game. All right. So how this game works, Sergeant Major, isn't this all for fun? All right. So how this game goes is I say a word and you say the first word or phrase that come to your mind. All right. So so if I say something like, you know, pain, you say pain is something that's always leaving the body. I'll just give you an example. So whatever comes to your mind or phrase, just say it after I say the word. Again, you have 3 seconds. The production team is counting down. If you don't say a response within 3 seconds, then they're going to give you another word. All right. So here we go. Let's just have some fun. All right. The first word on Chief Says Speed Game is fight.
Fight to always win.
Fight to always go. Let's go. All right. Okay. How about this one? Care.
Care from the heart, but not from the brain. And what I mean by that,
go ahead.
You gotta always care from your heart and not from the brain, because your heart is always joy-filled, not happy.
Oh, okay. This one should jump out at you right here.
Okay.
Focus.
Stay focused. You always gotta stay focused at everything that you do in life. But
that's your word. That's your word. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you for playing the Chief Says Speed Game. One of the things that we always do with our guests, you're going to get a Chief Says shirt. All right. So these shirts are not sold. They're not. You can't buy them anywhere. These are only for our guests, and we actually give it to one of our viewers that actually actually submit on Instagram a question. And the question is coming from Billy Agnew. He's one of my old cadets. He's wanted to question on how he can overcome challenges and obstacles in life. So Billy Agnew, he was actually one of our very, very physically fit cadets. He's actually in the Marines right now. So Billy Agnew, we'll make sure that you get this, but how you overcome those challenges to make sure that you stay focused at whatever you're supposed to do. Be where your feet are. Make sure that you be focused on what you're supposed to be doing at the time that you're supposed to be doing. So Billy Agnew, send us your address and you'll be getting this, okay? All right, so in closing, we want to thank you, Sergeant Major Murray, for actually accepting the invitation to be on Chief Says, all right? So we want to actually thank the Brandon Baquet and their media team, production team, for making Chief Says a reality where you, the viewer, can benefit from. All right, so remember to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications to Chief Says. Make sure you actually submit your questions so that we can actually give you, the viewer, an opportunity to get free merchandise. All right, so at the end, ladies and gentlemen, this is my time. I always say at the end, and help me out with this, Sergeant Major Murray. Chief Says, let's go!